Hello and welcome to Saved by the Bell Boxing with me, Jay Lynch. Back once again like a renegade master, neither left, neither right, neither southpaw, neither orthodox. So it's been a while. 4 months since I last made a video. I only made like 11 videos and then life took over and shit happens. We don't get paid for this shit. Anyway, I'm back. A lot's happened. I'm not going to make a 15-hour video about what has happened in the past 4 months of boxing because I'm sure you already know and you can watch other people that are far more informed than my good self. Anyway, we can talk about the weekend. Triple G came back. The monster was back after a bit of time out after those two epic fights with Canelo. He was back to stamp and stake his claim on the middleweight championship once again. But, and there is a but, when he walked out, I looked at him and I kind of thought, he doesn't look right. He looks ill. He didn't look fired up. I don't know, he looked drained to me. He looked like he'd aged, like physically aged in the face. People have said that he had the flu. Well, he said he had the flu against Kell Brook. He said he had the flu against Rosado, I think. Maybe he did because he didn't look great, to be honest with you. But before the fight, I'd have said, well, Derenchenko is going to last 6 rounds. He'll get knocked out. Golovkin's back. Nice easy warm-up before he takes the big challenges on and just to get rid of that ring rust. But no. Well, first round, he knocked him down. I thought, there you go. It's going to happen early. It's going to happen earlier than I predicted. And then he got a cut the second round. I thought, this is definitely not going to go the distance. Well, we were wrong. Well, I was wrong. And I'm sure pretty much a lot of you out there was wrong too. Now, for some reason, Gennady Golovkin didn't use his jab. He didn't move his head. He was getting caught with shots left, right and centre and it was a very difficult night for him. Now, Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, was the man that could cut off the ring, that would give you thunderous punches, could take a punch, but not too many. He got good amateur pedigree, he got good skills. But it seems to me that he's kind of on the downslide a little bit. Now, those scorecards were, they could have gone... You couldn't have moaned if it had gone either way. I'd have probably just given it to Golovkin. But if it had gone the other way, you wouldn't be complaining. Now, this must be a big worry for DAZN and for Tom Loeffler and for maybe Gennady Golovkin himself. Because he's not the man that he used to be. I'm afraid, I think... we have seen the last of the monster that is Triple G. Before, people were scared. People avoided him. People didn't want to get caught with those shots. They didn't want that work. He was avoided like the plague, but now people will be eyeing him up and thinking, we could take him. And I wouldn't be surprised that he loses possibly in the next 3 fights, which, as I said, would be a big worry for Tom Loeffler, DAZN, because they put a lot of money into him. And I think he owns shares in DAZN. So there's a lot of money riding on him. When DAZN launched, they bought in Canelo, Triple G, Anthony Joshua, the big names to keep those subscriptions going. But maybe they didn't bank on that Triple G is not the man he was. Now, of course he's going to go... I don't think there'll be a rematch, first of all. I think Derenchenko will want a rematch, but I don't think Gennady will want a rematch. He'll want to move on. I don't think the people around him. Now... what are the issues with Gennady Golovkin? Well, is he just getting old? He's 37. Maybe his time's gone. I think. You might think differently, but I think his time has gone. Is Jonathan Banks a problem? Can Jonathan Banks really teach Gennady Golovkin, the great amateur with the steadfast professional career? Can he really teach him anything? Nah, he can't. I don't think... I did give criticism for Jonathan Banks coming in, but... it's not Jonathan Banks' fault, surely. Or is it? Was he ill? Was he sick? Was he just having an off day? Was it because he'd had time out of the ring that he really wasn't himself? Yeah, possibly. That could be it. And only time will tell. Only we can judge, really, in his next fight. But if I'm making a judgment, and I have to make a judgment for this video, I'd say we've seen the last of Gennady Golovkin. Well, the best of, anyway. He'll want to fight for a title now. So Andrade, maybe Billy Joe Saunders, maybe Jacobs. Fighters that you thought will give him a tough fight. But Andrade, you think, yeah, knock him out. Jacobs, I think he'd beat him again. And Billy Joe Saunders would give him a tough test. But would he beat him? There's times where we thought it might be a step too far, even though people think that Billy Joe Saunders is a very, very good technical fighter. But if his mind's not in the game, then we see a different side to Billy Joe Saunders. So it's going to be interesting where he goes from here. But I think all of those will be looking at him thinking, he's still a name, he'll still bring bums on seats, he'll still get pay-per-view numbers, but will he win? Will he come out victorious as the unified middleweight champion? Time will tell, but I don't hold much hope. I don't think there'll be a third Canelo fight. I don't want to see it. I think a lot of people don't want to see it. I think Canelo's moved on. I think he's, with Kovalev, when he wins that, I think he'll be looking for something else. Although the pressure from DAZN to bring them together for those subscriptions, they might want to push that fight together because they know both sides, especially Canelo, will bring fans, will bring subscription. So we're yet to see. So today, we also found out Derek Chisora's opponent. After our Kiwi brother who loves these shores and he's always comes across as very approachable, very nice man, a former world champion and the only man to beat Ruiz, the current world heavyweight champion. Derek Chisora is going to fight David Price. Now, the reaction that I've seen was positive. Not a pay-per-view fight. Nah, it's a Saturday night top of the bill fight, but an interesting fight, especially for British boxing fans. David Price is on a renaissance. He's had 3 good wins. Wins, good or not, yet to be judged. But people did think he would get beat by Dave Allen. Let's be honest. I was possibly one of them that thought he might get caught on the whiskers. Cash Ali, we saw what happened there. So, but David Price talks about his mental state, how he's changed, how he's learned something now that he'd lost when he lost to Tony Thompson, lost that positive mental attitude, that fear factor, whatever it was when he got knocked out heavily by, what was the guy's name? Anyway, the big fat guy that was on the drugs, wiped him out. Anyway, so has he overcome that? Can we believe it this time? David Price, I think British fight fans love a comeback story. We love the downtrodden. We love to feel sorry, and we love the fact that David Price is a nice, friendly fella. He's a friendly giant, isn't he? Seems nice and down to earth. But so many times he's come back saying he's going to do it, and we thought, okay, yeah, and we've hoped for it, but he's got wiped out, and it's never really happened. But I think since the Povetkin fight, he seems to have turned it around a little bit, and he knows the secret. So maybe he's brought in Paul McKenna, and he's been hypnotised, and now he's a machine, a fighting machine. We will see. Derek Chisora, on the other hand, seems to have become a household favourite now. People cheering his name, kind of loved. The scoundrel, the table-flipping, glass-hitting monster that he is, seems to be a favourite now. People, sing that song about him. War Chisora, he's back, and with a fresh face, a couple of good wins. David Hay in the camp, pushing him. It's interesting. So, I think we might get a better fight, believe it or not, than if it had been a Parker fight, because I think they could, I don't know whether their styles might have clashed a little bit. You've got on one side now, David Price with the long jab. Now, David Price has to fight him with that long jab. He has to keep him at range. He doesn't want to get caught on them whiskers. Hopefully he's got the tank. It seemed in his last fight that he has the tank and that he can keep going, and he's not gonna wash up halfway through the fight and be out of stamina. So it seems that maybe he's overcome that. Was that a nerves thing? I don't know. I mean, if anyone's ever sparred, and I remember I've sparred, and in my first spar, I was petrified. And I just remember the whole of my energy just disappearing out of my body. And that was just in a spar in Islington Boxing Club. And I just remember my energy just zapping out of me, because finally I was in a ring against a guy that wanted to knock my head off, and this is on a minor level. So you imagine with the big crowds and the expectation, you could see how your body could drain of energy no matter how fit you are. So maybe it's a mental thing that he needs to get over, and not so much of a physical thing. Derek Chisora's going to come and try and knock his head off. He's going to try and catch him on the chin. Derek Chisora maybe use that Frazier technique, that Tyson technique of dipping underneath and coming inside and trying to work the body, work the chin, and just grind him, which is not good for David Price. At the same time, David Price is not good for Chisora, because if David Price can box off the back foot, use that long, stiff jab of his, and just keep pounding him for 12 rounds to keep him off and keep winning those rounds, well, then David Price could win this, as could Derek Chisora. So it's an interesting fight. But where do they both go? Well, David Price, this is a big win for him. This will step him up to bigger things, and that's sort of what he's been looking for, to try and make bigger waves and try and get bigger fights and try and ultimately now, I think, before he said he wasn't bothered about titles, but now ultimately I think he'd like to have a crack at the world title. Whether that will happen, I don't know. Crazier things in boxing have happened, So Derek Chisora, if he doesn't beat David Price, doesn't look good. The gravy train is coming to an end. He'll still fight on, he'll still get names, but not when you were fighting a former world champion and then you lose to the reserve opponent, which could be a problem, as we've seen with Joshua Ruiz. Late opponents, maybe not taking them seriously enough, maybe, not working on an opponent like that, and you couldn't get any more different from Joseph Parker and David Price. That's two big differences: height, size, reach, styles, everything. So we could, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and I know a lot of people out there are kind of looking forward to it because it's a British fan favourite fight, I think. So I will definitely watch it with his pay-per-view. And news today where we see Tyson Fury on the WWE. Now, a lot of people have been slating him for this, and I kind of understand it, but he's a self-promoter. Tyson Fury's the best in the game at the moment at self-promotion. I mean, Mayweather did it, Mike Tyson did it. They've all been on WWE wrestling. And it will only gain traction and massive fans. Look, at the end of the day, if we have KSI and RuPaul fighting, and if we had... and going back to that, Sonny Edwards put a tweet out saying that, I wish that I'd been a YouTuber and not done 14 years in a boxing gym. Bang on, Sonny. I agree with you. Everything that you say, because, people are queuing up to go and see that press conference. It's crazy. It's just, the world's gone mad. But, if you think that's ridiculous, then you think Tyson Fury is ridiculous, and you think that Conor McGregor and Mayweather is ridiculous. They're all ridiculous, but that's the world of boxing now. It's about promotion, about making money. I mean, it's always been about money, and fighters deserve to get paid as much as they possibly can, and even to an extent, KSI and RuPaul, they deserve to get paid. At the end of the day, they're going in there and they're fighting, and anyone that gets in a boxing ring and fights, more power to them, because personally, I don't like getting punched in the face. Anyway, that's about it. I've come back. I've done a video. Hopefully I'm going to do more. Oh, and I do a weekly podcast called The Boxing Talk Podcast. I'll put the link in down below. It's just 4 guys. We get together. We have a chat about the boxing. We have a laugh. We discuss. We make predictions. We talk what ifs, what nots, all that sort of good stuff. So check it out. Subscribe to it, watch it, you might enjoy it. Take a bourbon, have a nice piece of cake and a cup of Darjeeling and put your feet up and have a listen. An hour and a quarter out of your life, and if you love your boxing, then you're kind of going to love that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Love, subscribe, comment, whatever you do. But I'm back. The bitch is back. Oh, and be careful out there, because you might see a KSI fanboy up your ass.